y'all. Welcome back again. This is Welcome to the Sunrise, our 5-minute Bible study. What we do here is we just take things from the Bible. We give you an opportunity to study the Word. We give you an opportunity to spend some time with God with only 5 minutes. We want to get it all condensed down to a short 5-minute video for you guys so that you can spend some time with God and get some good stuff, and it can happen really quickly. I am Pastor Keith. We are currently talking about Jonah. And so this is going to be part 2 of when being petty goes wrong. So in part 1, we're going to put the timer right here. We're going to start. We got 5 minutes. We are on the clock. God is ready, and so are we. So in part 1, we talked about Jonah and how Jonah was a prophet of God and how his disdain for the people of Nineveh made Jonah start acting like Petty LaBelle. He was being petty so greatly in so many different areas that even non-believers had to step in and do what Jonah normally would do as a prophet. So we're going to pick up in chapter 2. At this point in time, Jonah has been casted off of the boat. God has calmed the sea. And now we get to see one of the common misconceptions that we talk about in the Bible when we talk about Jonah. In the word, it says here in Jonah chapter 1, verse 17, it says, "Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of this fish for 3 days and 3 nights. That says huge fish, never says a whale. Now we understand why people commonly think, well, huge fish must mean whale. But we got to stick to the text, and that text is important. It just says it was a huge fish. So you can use your own imagination about what it looks like. So we move over into chapter 2, and chapter 2 is really a cry from Jonah. It's a prayer from Jonah to God himself. He is in the belly of this big fish. He's got seaweed all over him. If you can imagine it, he's got seawater all in there. I would imagine it smells bad and all of this stuff, and he's sitting in darkness and not knowing exactly what's going to happen. We know he gets spit back up in 3 days, but he has no idea. And he's in this predicament because he was disobedient and refused to do a simple task that God gave him. His hate for the people of Nineveh has caused him to become petty, and now it's caused him to go against God. He's sitting at odds with God, and he has a moment of clarity where he has to come to himself. I've been there before, where God has to come get you. My first question for tonight is, do you really want your pettiness to cause you to have God come and get you and have to correct you? So Jonah starts praying to God because he's a prophet. He knows him really well. And he starts pleading with God. And he starts telling God about all this stuff and how he's feeling and all this. And what ends up happening, the significant part, is in chapter 2, verse number 9. In verse number 9, it says, "But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say salvation comes from the Lord." The reason why this stands out is he says, "What I have vowed." What that word actually means, vowed, means his promise. He's saying, God, what I have promised to do for you, I will make good. Now, before all this, Jonah says all these great things about God and all these nice things about God. That doesn't move God at all. It's not until Jonah says, I'm going to get back in obedience with you. What I want you to pull from this prayer is how much God honors and how important he puts obedience, even above sacrifice. God needs your obedience. Your tithing is great. All the time that you give to him, praying to him is great. Any sacrifices and fasting, that is all awesome. But what God needs is your obedience. He needs people that are going to do what he said he needs them to do. And once Jonah says, I vow to do what I told you I'm going to do, I'm going to get back in obedience, God spits him right back up, tells the big fish to spit him back up, and Jonah's now back on the task that he was already assigned to be on. So my second question is, do you really want pettiness to take you on this roundabout journey to put you right back where you started? Why waste the time being petty? What is the point of wasting the time being petty? Jonah could have avoided all of this stuff, but God is a great God, and he still made a miracle out of Jonah's mess. But now we've got Jonah on his way going to do what God has called him to do. And so we're going to get to part 3 on the next one that we're going to do, and we get to see how God does the same lesson twice with the same person. And so I need you guys to come back for part 3 and part 4 about Jonah and his pettiness and how all this is going to relate to you and help you. See you next time.